So basically for ACE, we are a national level non-profit organization builds and develops the Singapore startup ecosystem. So in terms of the tech startups that we support, they are actually across any stages. So be it like a pre-seed stage all the way to, let's say a Series A or Series B onwards. And in terms of the industry of tech startups that we are supporting, they also cut across sectors as well. So we are pretty sector agnostic. Yeah. So for us, how we support, tech startups is actually in three main areas. So first, we actually support them in terms of driving overseas market access. So for the Singapore tech startups, we see that there's a lot of demand to actually expand into Southeast Asia and also North Asia regions. So for ACE, we organize various, let's say, over market immersion programs, or let's say closed door pitching sessions for startups to actually, seek overseas market access and seek overseas investments as well. So next up is more of corporate innovation. So corporate innovation wise, we will actually match relevant tech startups with corporate innovators who are scouting for specific tech solutions to potentially co-innovate on certain solutions together. So this also serves as like driving business deals for our startups. And then next up, our next area of support is more of driving local market traction in the current home country. So that can be through our community events. Yeah. So I think in Singapore, there's more than 4,000 tech startups across Singapore. And for us as ACE, we are situated in this place called Launchpad. So Launchpad is something like the Silicon Valley by US. It's a very densely packed ecosystem of, let's say, startups, investors, accelerators, and incubators. So far, we have supported a lot of startups in terms of like supporting them to raise, let's say, a government grants or funding. We have supported more than 150 tech startups regarding to this aspect. So because for us, we actually support startups across all stages. So our different initiatives to support their growth comes in different forms as well. So for the very early stage one, there's this base camp program, startup grant briefing program, and also mentorship program. Then for startups who have already incorporated and are looking to gain local market traction as well as regional market traction, that will be our corporate innovation program, whereby startups can either work with Singapore-based corporates or regional-based corporates for co-innovation project. And then lastly, growth stage startups will look at market access and immersion program. So community, and these are some of our community initiatives that we do. So let's say startup workshops, mentorship sessions, and also a social lunch. And also one of our very popular community events that we are currently running is actually Meet the VC session. So Meet the VC session is where startups will get an opportunity to meet one-on-one with relevant VCs to pitch for potential investments. So we run Meet the VC sessions bi-monthly. So in upcoming sessions, you'll actually be held in September. So participating VCs are KK Fund, JR Finance, and Jingmao Capital. So KK Fund is a Singapore-based VC, whereas JR Finance and Jingmao Capital, they are China-based VCs looking to invest in Southeast Asia startups. So next up, for early stage startup, we actually have this thing called Basecamp program. So Basecamp program is a structured mentorship, 1 month structured mentorship for very early stage startups to guide them in terms of startup development. So for example, how do you build your business model? How do you structure your startup team? How do you come up with an MVP? How do you pitch for sales? How do you pitch for investment? And we actually bring them through this series of workshops and courses. And after that, what we'll do is that we'll select, a promising startups to actually join our demo day to actually pitch to potential investors and corporates as well. So besides Basecamp program, we also have this thing called talent development programs, whereby we support tech startups with talent hiring. So because right now with this COVID situation, so we can't have physical career fairs anymore. So that is when we hold like virtual career fair for our startups to seek for talent. Okay, so next up we have the overseas piece and also regional innovation hub. So basically for startups who are looking to work together with a regional corporates through our overseas partnerships, our startups are able to have access to the regional corporates who are looking to scout for relevant tech startups. So we hold corporate open innovation programs to support startups to be matched with the corporate as well. So some of our corporate members that we have are companies like Mitsui Chemicals, Panasonic, Coca-Cola, Marubeni, to name a few. So for Coca-Cola itself, we have run the Bridge Challenge itself, which is the open innovation program to scout for relevant tech startups in Southeast Asia with regards to marketing tech, logistic tech, as well as let's say advertising tech as well. Yeah. So for startups who are looking to gain overseas market access and to have an outreach of these overseas corporates, that is where we have our network of international partnerships. So far we have international partnerships across 20 cities. So these partners, they are our Southeast Asia partners as well as our global partners. So we have partnerships in, let's say, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Thailand, and Vietnam for the Southeast Asia side of things. And for global partners, we are in countries such as China, Korea, Japan, France, Austria, and Russia. So for the overseas partnerships that we have, we form partners with either of these three organizations. So they are either your overseas government agencies themselves. So let's say in Japan, we have partnership with Startup Fukuoka City. And for Osaka, we will have upcoming partnership with Osaka City government. So government agency is the first part. Second part of partnerships that we have are your overseas national startup ecosystem builder. So something like this, but in the overseas country itself. So in Malaysia, it will be, let's say, Magic, and in Vietnam, it will be Saigon Innovation Hub. And then the third and last layer of partners that we have is more of your corporates who are heavily involved in corporate innovation. So that will be, let's say, True Digital Park that is based in Bangkok. So for True Digital Park, they are actually opened by True Corporation, one of the biggest telco company in Thailand. And for True Digital Park, they are this entire park based in Bangkok itself. And we work with True Digital Park to open up a Singapore center to act as a soft landing zone for Singapore startups to access into the Thailand market itself. So likewise with China, we work closely with the Nanjing government to open up a Singapore center in Nanjing as well to act as a soft landing zone for our Singapore startups to expand into China. So these are our various ACE international partnerships and our various ACE international events. And we also have immersion programs, be it in Singapore or in overseas. So to actually, support startups with getting overseas business deals and overseas business leads. Yeah. So this is the following for our international center. So this is a Thailand center, and this is our center in Nanjing, China.